Hi, my name's Leesa Scott, and I'm a wellness advisor with a focus on self-care. And I'm here to share my life hacks that saved my life. So I was a happy 28-year-old mom of two very active little girls. Jessie, she had just had her first birthday, and Ash was going to be 4 in just a couple of short months. Chasing around after these two girls all day, it really kept me on my toes. It was June, the summer of 1989, and we had recently moved to Ohio and bought our first home. Our life was really pretty exciting. We filled our days with these fun activities like playing on our new play set and splashing around at the neighborhood pool. I really wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I wanted our children to be able to play in their own backyard and for me to be the one to hold them when they were hurting. And I wanted to be able to take them around so that we could explore this new area, this new state that we had moved to. So I go to bed on a Thursday night and I'm planning out tomorrow's next adventure. I decided that we were going to go to the Columbus Zoo, and then we were going to end our day at the pool with Daddy so that he could see everything that we had learned that week and for him to be able to cool off from that 12-hour workday that he had had. So I go to bed and I expect that the next morning is going to be like every other morning, except that this particular Friday morning when I woke up, I could barely move. Every time I tried, I had this excruciating pain. I mean, each movement that I had, my eyes filled up with tears, and it actually hurt me to breathe. So my mind, it starts racing. What's going on? Why am I having this kind of pain? What the heck had I done? Have you ever had pain so intense that it actually hurt you to breathe? Yeah, well, my husband, he had already left for work when I woke up hearing our 3-year-old calling out, "Mama, is it up time?" That child always wakes up roaring to go. And then I heard Jessie. So I gingerly make my way into the nursery. And she's just standing there smiling, waiting on her morning hugs. But let me tell you, it was a lesson in determination because it takes everything that I have to pick this baby up out of her crib and get her changed and ready to greet the day. I mean, it's hard enough on a normal day to change a baby. Now, Ash had come in. And she could see that I was fighting back these tears. "Mama, why are you crying?" You know, when I saw the concern in her eyes, I think that frightened me more than this pain that I woke up with. Now, after breakfast, I had two pretty excited little girls because I had put in a Disney princess movie. See, we didn't watch much television, but I wasn't able to take them outside like I normally would. I even had a hard time standing in the kitchen long enough just to put their meal together. This pain that I woke up with, it was preventing me from my life, and I liked my life. So it took a couple of days before I got the diagnosis back from my doctor's office. And it's something that maybe some of you have heard of before. The diagnosis comes back as fibromyalgia. Now, what they're telling me is that it's this syndrome that they really just don't know that much about. But they do have a pill. All I need to do is to take this pill. Great. I thought, I'll just take this pill every day, and then in a day or two, I'll get my life back. But it didn't happen that way. Now, I took the pill, and I slept better that night, so I woke up in a bit less pain. I wasn't fighting back the tears like I had those previous days. But I woke up with this really dense fog. The best I can describe it is like a really bad medicine head. Now, I was in less pain, and that's a good thing. It's just that what I had lost was my ability to safely care for my girls, and that was not okay. So it turns out that I had had a reaction to that classification of drugs, and that's all they had to offer me at the time. So, okay, now what? Well, I'm a problem solver, and accepting this, this excruciating pain, or running around with this dense fog as my new normal, well, that just wasn't going to work for me, and I needed to figure something out. The girls and I, we were often over at the local library during story time, and this is where I began to research this syndrome called fibromyalgia. And what I learned from the library and from talking to everybody who knew anything about getting out of pain, well, it saved my life and the life of those around me. Now, for those of you who may have heard of fibromyalgia, you might be thinking right about now, I didn't realize that fibro was so life-threatening. Well, I guess that depends on how you describe your life. Because for me, it's about waking up with a smile and being able to do lots of different activities during the day, not being in constant agonizing pain. And it's about wanting to play and to cook and to hang out with my friends, not being so doggone tired that I don't even want to get up off the sofa. And I'd like to be able to sleep through the night instead of tossing and turning for hours. And I would like to be able to be clear-headed, because walking around with this brain fog and word searching all day, well, honestly, it made me feel pretty inadequate. But more than any of those things, I don't want to be short-tempered, especially with these little ones that don't have a clue why I'm being grumpy. You can understand that. So for me, this choice, this new normal between pain and brain fog, it was not living. And I realized that I was going to have to be the one to fix this. So I did. Now, what I learned that was so life-changing about being healthy, like really healthy, both emotionally and physically, is that you can't address just one area in your life. And you can't just take a drug to try and fix one thing. I learned that even though I was happy and active, that I had had this chronic stress, and it had been building and building for years. I learned that I needed to take a step back and to look at my life holistically. The people who I thought were living full, healthy, happy, and wealthy lives, they treated their body as a whole. They paid attention to their thoughts, and they understood the importance of getting good rest, and they were intentional with how they held and carried themselves. They even paid attention to the foods that they selected, how they were fueling this body. These life hacks, as I refer to them, they really weren't even that difficult for me to implement into my day-to-day. I started with one thing, just one, and then that led to two, and then so on. And with each of these hacks, I got better. I got healthier. I got my life back. Actually, I was even better than my old self. Now, I was mostly learning from doctors and unconventional researchers about wellness, and what their research showed made sense. So unconventional or not, I needed to fix this thing. When I applied their techniques to my life, they worked. So now fast forward 30-some years to now, and you will see that I have made a career sharing what I've learned. I work with doctors and nutritionists and psychologists, all trying to bridge this gap between modern medicine and self-care modalities. I have learned that I was able to put together these 5 pillars of health, and each of these 5 pillars have contributed to my pain-free, happy, healthy, and wealthy life. And today I'm here to give you some of these life hacks so that when you're ready for self-care, you're going to have the tools that you need to get started, or at least you'll have more to add to your toolbox. So let's start with the first pillar. It is the letter P, and it is for positive thoughts. Now, it turns out that there's some really good science out there that shows that how our thoughts affect our moods and essentially our body aches and pains. So the key here is to begin to think about or to pay attention to what your thoughts are. Are you putting yourself down, not feeling quite good enough? Because all of us are dealing with these negative thoughts all the time. But what I've learned is that when I change that narrative over to a positive, it really lifts my mood. So the key here would be for you to start giving yourself the credit that you deserve. And you mentioned this, for all of the things that you do right every day. The second pillar, it is the letter R, and it is for rest. Do you know why we need to sleep? It's to renew and to rejuvenate and to detoxify our cells so that our lymphatic system, along with a lot of other things, can help to keep us healthy. So here's a tip. Eat your carbs, your sugary foods and beverages, early enough in the day so that they can get burned off or digested and hopefully burned off, so that they don't keep you awake all night, or so that they don't wake you up, because they will. The third pillar is the letter A, and it is for align. The tip is something that you can do with me right now if you'd like to. So all you need to do is to just roll your shoulders. Just roll your shoulders back and allow your shoulder blades to slide down your back. Now, take a nice deep breath and open up your chest. And hold that position for several seconds. And do that several times every day. It feels good, doesn't it? The fourth pillar is the letter N, and it is for nutrition. And it turns out that Mom was right again. We really are what we eat. So the key here is to start paying attention to what your body needs to feel its best. Because some of us think that we can eat this processed food and we think that we feel okay. But others of us, we get really sluggish and bloaty. So start paying attention to how you feel after you've eaten so that you'll know what your body needs to feel its best. For me, to feel my best, I need to eat mostly whole foods. You know, the kind that don't come with a label. The fifth pillar, it is another letter A, and it is for action. Have you ever considered that our life is really just a series of habits? And it really isn't that difficult for us to select a better habit. But the trick is to stick with that better habit long enough until it becomes our lifestyle. And you know what? It's really not that hard. All you need to do is to select 1 or 2 things that you want to change. And then go out and collect yourself a few accountability buddies, because you're going to need more than one. And then just put that new habit into action every day and do it for a minimum of 30 days. And it's going to go by that quick. And before you know it, it's going to be part of your lifestyle. Now today, my life, it's virtually pain-free, both physically and emotionally. And when it isn't, I go back to my 5 pillars of health, PRANA, to figure out where it's out of whack. Now, did any of you notice when you put those 5 pillars together what they spell? Yeah, prana. Do you know why? Because by definition, prana is a life-giving force. And that's what I'm offering you here today. I'm offering you a life-giving force. When I have applied prana to my life, it's allowed me to live pretty much pain-free. Now, with this lifestyle, I have seen it help manage anxiety, depression, diabetes, high blood pressure, autoimmune disorders, weight problems, and the list, it just goes on and on and on. And who knows? Maybe this lifestyle has even prevented a life-threatening disease. If I had a crystal ball and I was able to show you your future, would you be willing to change a few habits to prevent something bad from happening to you or to someone that you love? Just think of prana the next time that you go to select something to eat, or the next time that you hear somebody say, maybe even your child say, some disparaging words about themselves. Is your life worth making a few changes? Is theirs? I say yes. I think everybody's life is worth it. So do something right now. Make a commitment to change one thing, just one thing, so that you might save your life or the life of somebody that you love. Because together, you guys, we can make a difference. Thank you.